Welcome to the up and down matches for WCS Korea in hot, hot Seoul. It's very hot here today. I'm Wolf. With me is Kaldor. We're going to get this started.
Yeah, we have another day coming up. This is the last day of the up and downs. 2 more players for the Premier League. That is what we are waiting for today. And we have a pretty interesting group. We have a really exciting group today.
Yeah, we do. A bit of a different race demographic than what we saw the past 2 days. And I'm looking forward to seeing how these players are going to do. We've got a group of players, so I feel are all pretty much evenly matched in skill. There's no clear favorite for me.
Definitely. I mean, we have today a little bit more of a Zerg heavier group. The last few days we had groups where we usually had like 2 Zerg players, especially yesterday's group was very, very exciting. We had Marine King Swagger in a very tough fight there at the end in a tiebreaker where they were in, and they were really trying to make this work, but in the end it was actually Swagger who got out of the group, which was really interesting. A lot of people did not really expect it. Yeah. But today we have 3 Zerg players, and as you already said, all of the players are pretty much at eye level. Exactly,
3 Zergs, which means we're going to have a bit of ZVZ going on here. Yep. So ZVZ a really important matchup for these Zerg players. And, you know, for me, I'm really actually looking forward to Hurricane's play. I want to see what he can show us today. Let's take a look at the results from yesterday, though, for those of you guys who can't remember what Kaldor just said. Deer and Swagger were the 2 players to advance to Prodosses.
Exactly. Curious, of course, was also part of the tiebreaker, but I feel the bigger story was really Marine King and Swagger, since they not only played the last match of the regular group, but then also the last match of the first tiebreaker, where Swagger was once again successful. But also his Immortal build, especially on Anaconda, was very exciting to see against Curious, and before that against Roro.
Yeah, he's really playing some creative strategies, looking really strong with his also 10-gate opening. He really impressed me yesterday, and he deserves to get out of the group. Pretty crazy tiebreaker.
Here we have today's players, and as Wolf already said, Hurricane, of course, one of those players that we definitely have to watch out for. But for me personally, the 2 players that I want to really see is JakJi and Hurricane. They're the ones where I'm really interested how they will do today. Yeah. I personally think that KangHo is definitely one of the favorites to get out of the group, but it's a very, very tough group to play. I want to see a little bit how Effort plays too, because the last time that I saw Effort was really at the WCG qualifier where he lost to Marine King. And his performance there, it didn't impress me too much. So today he only has to face a single Terran player, but I really would love to see if he kind of improved a little bit in that matchup. But before we go in any kind of play with Effort or with Hurricane later on, we are focusing on our Zerg versus Terran at hand, and that is between KangHo and JakJi.
Yep, JakJi got his new team, My Insanity, MYI there. You can see the tag. Looks good in his brand new jersey, and it's the first time I believe he's worn it in a televised match. Excited to see how he's going to do here. Really, really decent run in the Challenger League. He wants to get to Premier League. He said this in interviews. He's been kind of the face of his old team, but now he's starting a new beginning, and he would love to start it, of course, in that Premier League. And he's up against KangHo, a big fan favorite, someone who's been around a long time. Both of these guys are actually old players, and they're very loved by the fans.
And if you're wondering why exactly JakJi is suddenly in a new jersey, then I have really bad news for you. Then you probably didn't get the memo. NS Hosa is no more. The team disbanded, and a lot of the players are looking for new homes right now. JakJi already has a new home. It's My Insanity, as Wolf already mentioned. So NS Hosa joined teams like Slayers and TSL, but unfortunately are now in the void.
Yeah, they are in the void, along with Zenex and OGS and many other old Korean teams here. But we'll see how JakJi does on this new team. A lot of good players transitioning out of disbanded teams. We've seen it already before, and I think that JakJi definitely could get out of this group. KangHo, on the other hand, in my opinion, I favor him slightly going into this match. I think he's a slightly stronger player. He's shown really, really good games in the Premier League. Last season wasn't the best for him, but he's definitely top tier.
We'll find out right now. First game starting here at the Up and Downs, the last group of this season. We're jumping in here at GOMTV. JakJi versus KangHo with Kaldor and Wolf. And starting to the bottom left of Gongali Beach, we have the LGIM Zerg player, the man with the spider hands. It is
LGIM KangHo.
Get a shot of those spider hands in a second.
KangHo is...
Look at that.
Look at that. If you want to get a little bit of a longer glimpse, go to youtube.com/KaldorTV. There's a long video with him playing at the WCG Korea qualifier. It's actually quite incredible to watch that for a long time. And well, to the top right we have his opponent, a former NS Hosa player, now playing for My Insanity. It's the Terran in blue. It is
My Insanity JakJi.
Oh, look at that. Comedy caster made the intro.
Yeah. I heard that.
In case you don't know, one of the casters that is working at GOMTV was a former comedian on television in Korea.
He's actually full of energy. Heller and I joke about how his TV personality is just never turned off.
Yeah.
He just walks into the room and he starts with this booming, loud voice about anything that's happening.
He's like a really funny guy and also a little bit smaller, like not really the biggest guy or anything.
He's very thin.
He's very thin, he's very funny, and he always has this booming voice, and he's coming through the room and he kind of is like, "Oh, how you doing?" And he never stops that. So I actually feel when he goes home to his wife, he's exactly the same. "Hey, honey, how you doing? I had a great day. What about you?"
Yeah.
That's kind of how he's like, and it's kind of funny to see that he actually made the intro here.
Yeah, he's got a good voice.
Yeah. They had to change it, of course, because of the team change.
Yeah.
So I feel that's why we have the change.
Certainly. Here's some of the accomplishments of these two players in their StarCraft 2 careers. Drone gets trapped inside. It is a Reaper build. He will see this. And in fact, until the Reaper is out, if he doesn't pull a second SCV here, he's taken some serious losses. Lost almost all the hit points on that one. And in fact, he's going to have to continue to micro that. Nicely done.
What you can already see is a little bit of an adjustment that KangHo made to his builds now that he identified that there's gas in his opponent's main base. He took his own extractor, and you want to have that against Reapers. Of course, usually against a Terran player in this particular opening, the Terran will just... Oh, apparently.
Oh, he tried to steal the gas, and he failed. He was killed.
Yeah, so the idea usually behind this is you just want to scout a little bit, but some Terran players will commit a bit more to Reapers, so when you have 2 or 3 Reapers up against you, they can take down a few drones. So most Zerg players will immediately go into gas on their own, because they want to be sure that they have something on the map that can really deal with the Reapers. Queens are nice and well, but we've seen builds in the past where Reapers just dismantle an entire Zerg defense just because the Zerg player was a little bit too overconfident. So gas is the usual reaction once you see the Reaper opening, and you also want to have a force on the map that can deal with the Reapers that later on in conjunction with the Hellions that are to be expected if you see this kind of style.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And he has enough Zerglings out here to easily repel this one. 1 kill. Not getting anything else probably at all. The Queen's about to pop out. Once the Queens are out, Reaper's not going to get anything done. Tries to get 1 drone here, and he actually has to leave because he's a little bit low on hit points. He hadn't regenerated just yet.
You know, when you actually look at the statistics for the two, let's talk a little bit about the numbers here. You find out really fast that KangHo, you know, he's perceived as one of the best players that we have. He's been in the Premier League several times. In the past, he's been an extraordinary player. But his statistics out of the Swarm for the Zerg vs Terran matchup are actually not the best. He played 26 maps and he only won 12 of them. That leaves him with a 46% win ratio, which is not really all that impressive. He's a lot stronger in other matchups, but the Zerg vs Terran, that's where he struggles a little bit. Funny as it is, the same is true for JjakJi.
Yeah.
Not as much exposure as KangHo in televised matches, especially here in Korea, of course. He currently has 12 maps played in Terran vs Zerg. He won 5 of them, so he also with only a 42% win ratio. Something to keep in mind when we observe this match between the two of them now.
Yeah, it's definitely something you definitely want to keep in mind. I mean,
and it's all, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
but
sure.
For KangHo, it's actually the only Zerg vs Terran that he has to play today, so that is not the biggest problem for him. And I don't know how much you have focused on this matchup then.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he may have just been thinking, I've got a timing planned out, or I'm just going to play a straight-up game as best I can, like it's a ladder match, and hope I can get the win. So, you know, your stats that you just gave there are pretty good to note, because you just look at these two players and look at their accomplishments, especially in Wings of Liberty and what they're known for. KangHo is actually a GSL finalist. JjakJi is a winner. When it comes down to this matchup in the Heartless Swarm, though, they're definitely not dominant. They are strong players, but they are not absolutely dominant. Nice depot lift there. That was very well done. He sees everything nonetheless, but at least he doesn't get in the main.
It looks like we're going to have a Mutalisk build from KangHo on 2 bases. He's going into the 4 gases, and he starts with not only additional greens, but he also has now the Spine Crawler at the front.
Yeah.
That's one of those builds that... It's always interesting to me that Zerg players, especially in Korea, really favor this build over so many others, and delaying the upgrades because of them. Now we have double... Well, actually, he does not have to go into a Spire build here. He goes for the double Evolution Chamber at the front. There's a Roach Warren, so he still has a couple of options. That's the additional Overlords. Has a few too many drones, though, if he wants to go for normal Roach bailing timing. That's not going to be the case here, especially since we, of course, now have the option to go into upgrades. Yeah,
the scan goes down, and the Roach Warren is spotted. JjakJi has a response, just adds 2 barracks here. He's going to play this very safely. Not going to add his E-base just yet, but this will actually, of course, affect his upgrade timing. And there go the 1-1 upgrades for KangHo right now. You know, I like what you said before about, you know, there are a lot of different strategies you can use. A lot of Korean players favor this one for some reason. It is one that, or you know, meterless styles in general, of course, it turns out he's not doing exactly what we expected.
It's a lot of gas.
Yeah.
And, you know, he got 4 gas in total now, and that's why I expected him to go into a fast attack and trying to get those meterless styles on 2 bases. He doesn't do it, but he has such a bank in gas right now, even though he got the double upgrade already. So he will head into Lair most likely pretty soon. But I want to see what exactly he's going to do here. He's not turning up anymore. Here comes the Lair tech. You know that Lair is most likely going to turn out to line up quite well with the speed upgrade for the Roaches.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Even Overlord speed is something that he gets now. But that's a little bit late to line it up perfectly, but still, this is something that he can definitely do.
He's already starting to see a pretty heavy commitment to Widow Mines as well, so I don't blame him for that Overlord speed upgrade. Even moving that Spore Caller over to the edge. KangHo moving out right now, and he's not going to have +1, of course, for the Roaches, but this poke is nice. It's definitely going to make sure that JOGUNSHOP can't be overextending himself on the map. He has to sit back a little bit defensively. This triple Widow Mine drop, of course, will be spotted. He already knows about it. He just has to react quickly when the time comes. This bunker is going to have to be canceled. He's not going to be able to take that base like he wants to. Baneling Nest goes down.
There comes a Baneling Nest, and this is going to be a heavy commitment by KangHo. There's no additional attack. I doubt that we are going to see any kind of high attack on Lair. The Widow Mines, on the other hand, he has to deal with those somehow. At the front, not targeting the bunker. That's the wrong choice. He needs to target those SCVs. He cannot kill the bunker, but he needs to take down the Harvester count of his opponent.
Ooh! Wow. He gets the surround on that one. The Queen helping out. Otherwise, that wouldn't have worked. And it looks like he will push this back, in fact. Nicely done. JOGUNSHOP playing a solid defense there. And oh, these drones are coming back. Are they gonna... The cooldown is very close?
No, it should be fine. The overseer is already
there. There's too many queens.
Yeah, the queen. I mean, he has so many queens. The commitment to queens. Yeah, 6 in total. 1 an additional 1 in the main base. And now look what we have. This is exactly... He's going for the speed for the Roaches, and he's going into Banelings, and he's going into Roaches. So, going for a lot of aggression. We're getting even additional gas now at the expansion.
Yeah. He's gonna have a decent creep spread as well if he continues to use those queens. It's gonna help him attack a little bit faster.
He's not gonna go for nil just now. He has like 2-2 on the way, and he's even droning up behind it. But he still has a pretty strong force on the map. But what really is noteworthy is that he doesn't get an infestation pit. There is no spire. He's just really relying on Zerglings and Roaches at this point, and trying to rely on this really upgrade-heavy army composition that he uses.
Yeah. And that creep spread for KangHo is insane right now. It's starting to move very, very far forward. And you can see JOGUNSHOP's kind of aware of this, but there's not too much he can do against this army that's on the map. It's a very strong army. The composition becomes weaker over time. This is, of course, one of the reasons why KangHo now adds the Spire, because he is going to need those Metelas to deal with drop play. He is going to want them to give a little bit more map control, a little bit more mobile. And the Overlord Speedo here going to help the Overlord try to escape. And it looks like with the Queens here, you very well may. Not quite. Oh, Transfuse! Nice!
Well done. KangHo is playing this a little bit weird. He did not really try to play greedy at the beginning. He's playing it just very slow and passive. Not trying to hit any timings, just trying to stay solid and not overextend himself in any kinds of attack. The only problem that I have with this build is that he has not the economy that you usually have as a Zerg player. Now he's at 68, but that's a very late 68 Harvester count that he has. He was at 50 for a long time in the game, and as a result of that, JakJi was able to do whatever he wanted to, and that it has him in a 40 supply lead right now. So KangHo has to be really, really careful about this.
You're absolutely right, and JakJi even has the lead in Harvesters right now, as it is. A few Banelings going to roll in here and get some good connects, and JakJi overstaying just a little bit, but off the creep. There's no way that KangHo can make this engagement work. He's very heavy on the Roach. This composition that we're seeing kind of is reminiscent of what we saw DRG do on this map just a few days before. It's a little bit different because it's a much smoother way of going into what he's done here, but even so, just heavy committing to Roaches. I think he's going to switch out right now. He's not making any more, and he's starting to lose a few of those, so he's just going to hold on to these for a little bit longer. He's not getting the missile upgrades at all either.
We have an armor upgrade for air units, which interests me a lot, since I'm not quite sure what he's going to do with this. If he goes for Mutilis and to fight, he doesn't really have the gas to do that, but I feel that's what we're going to see. Because if you get the armor upgrade for the Corruptors, that doesn't make too much sense. You could get Corruptors out if you really want to deal with your opponent's high medevac count. It's something that we see a lot of Zerg players actually do that go for this composition.
Yeah.
But they already have a lot of armor. You don't necessarily need the armor upgrade here.
You're absolutely right. Big engagement here down to the south. Good split so far by JakJi. He's got the medevacs to fly away. There's no Mutilis nearby, but he can use the split. He wants to trade against the Banelings. And you know what? KangHo's going to push through JakJi. Not the best trades there, but it wasn't too bad. That Widowmine shot, oh, he doesn't get it.
Yeah, so he goes for the Mutalisks now. He makes that Mutalisk switch, which I find kind of interesting. There are already missile turrets in the main base, and
you know what's also interesting is jjakji's getting the armor upgrade for his air units, which is going to make his medevacs a little bit sturdier against Mutalisks. You know, you don't see that all too often. Not in this matchup anyways.
I mean, he might... jjakji is not overcommitting to Marauders, and that's really important. It's not like he is really focusing on the Marauder production right now. He needs to get a few additional Marines, though. He really has those reactors, and he's not really putting them to work. He's missing a couple of production cycles here. So that would really help him. One Marine, that's all that he's building now. But he has so many medivacs. Oh, that's not like...
One less medevac, it looks like here.
No, actually, he gets away.
And there's a Widow Mine. You could actually fight these Mutas. Mutas have to run away.
I'm not quite sure what that Widow Mine actually hit. That looked like it was attacking the Marines and not the Mutalisks.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. That was kind of a weird Z angle we saw there. You know, I think it's actually the armor for the ground units, not actually for the air. My mistake there. Or are they combined now? That's one of those things that you just... I can't check with my computer because I don't have one right now.
To be honest with you,
I think it's both there.
I'm not a fan of what KangHo does here. He's on 4 bases now, but these Mutalisks are very late in the game. I doubt that they will really accomplish a lot. The Roaches were already investment into gas, as were all the Banelings that he built earlier. He's now falling behind in upgrades, and this army is strong, but can it really break not only this armored force for jjakji, but then also push through and take down the economy of the Terran? I doubt it.
It doesn't look like it with those Widow Mine shots here, and jjakji holds his own here. He can also take a 4th base at any time he wants. He's got the command center ready. He starts 3-3. His Marine count is insanely high. Doesn't have a lot of Marauders as a result, so he has to be careful about that. He's already switching, of course, into those Vikings.
Yeah, the one thing that jjakji didn't really exploit is that he was able to drop for a lot longer since there was no anti-air in the game. So this is something where he could have done a little bit more. KangHo was a bit defenseless with this. But now that the Mutalisks have been revealed, I doubt that they will really do a whole lot. They can at least take down maybe even the command center here if there's no immediate repair, but the reinforcements are already on their way to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yep.
And he will get that 4th eventually.
Yeah, he definitely will. He's going to have to scan and clean up that Zerling. I don't know if he's realized that's there. Another engagement over here. Some of jjakji's army is missing, but he can move off creep. Widow Mine shot is beautiful.
That hit was absolutely gorgeous, taking down all of those Banelings. That was great. And now, once again, the supply in favor of jjakji, who's heading into 3-3, where we don't even have the infestation pit for KangHo. Mutaling Baneling is just so strong at the beginning when you get the Mutalisks out on the map and when you start to have your +2/+2 upgrades. But the addition of the Mutalisks so late in the game really took a lot of that time period away where you are strong against the Terran player. And the time is working in favor of jjakji now.
Certainly is. He splits again here. And, you know, Osira just not able to crash all the way through. He's always trying, but he can never get that last push he needs. Yes, this pushes jjakji back a little bit, but chases him down again once he gets the reinforcements. He has so many medevacs right now, 11 medevacs on top of this army. Finally, that Zerling cleaned up with missile turrets. But +2 plating finishing here. 3-3 is going to be done very soon. And at this point, KangHo is just... he's trying to make something work with these Mutalisks, but every time he gets chased away. His Mutalisk count is not as high as he wants it to be. He's adding a few more here.
The 3-3 is done. And the 3rd plating upgrade is now on the way. There is still no infestation pit, and KangHo is running out of time here. He needs to do something with his army. He needs to do it fast, because from this point on, jjakji has a significant lead in army strength. And with KangHo's base, I mean, he doesn't even have a bank anymore. He had that faster 4th, and he's now trying to double expand. But I highly doubt that jjakji is going to allow this for too long.
Yeah, I don't think so. Worker count for jjakji is quite high at 75. And once he gets us for a 4th base for a while, I think he's actually going to start to get rid of some of those SCVs to make his army supply a little bit more, more powerful, a little bit stronger. And here we go, he's going in here, crashing down to this creep, and this has just kind of happened over and over again in this game where jjakji goes for the attack. KangHo barely holds, but he doesn't trade so well, and now he's losing some of his mutas over here.
You know, with the slow-paced game style that KangHo used here, I would have expected him to go into Hive a little bit faster and try to get those Broodlords out, playing it really safe and going for a late-game army composition. But that's never been the case here. And now he is dealing with this huge Terran army, and the splits for jjakji so far were great. The Banelings, of course, there's a massive amount of them. But with this split and those nice Marauder micros here, we have a lot of the Banelings going down without doing anything. the supply once more in favor of jjakji, and the upgrade still going strong for him.
Yeah, the upgrade's really looking good for him. He's getting building plating and high-sec auto-tracking right now to join them, adding a ton more barracks so he can remax much faster. The problem for him in that last engagement was that he didn't have enough Marines to kill a Mutalisk, but his Marauder count was actually what allowed him to decimate the ground army. The Banelings not really doing so well. This one Marauder takes out half the hit points on the hatchery. That means later on, jjakji can snipe it a lot easier. He's taken this bottom right base, and I don't think that KangHo is going to see this for a while. And that's actually going to be a great extra piece of income for jjakji, who has such a great economy, he has so many harvesters, and all those new barracks he just added, they're going to be going strong very soon. He's making reactors there right now.
KangHo is starving for money, even though he's on 4 bases. His main is already mined out. There is no additional tech. I just don't see any chance for him to win this game. He has to sweep the entire army of jjakji just away in one big swoop and make sure that he still has a huge chunk of his own army. Then he can carry the momentum into his opponent's base. But if that doesn't happen, then I just don't see him winning this game. I'm looking at it and I'm trying to find arguments for KangHo winning it, and I don't find anything. jjakji doesn't give him a lot to work with. He has drop started, he has the better upgrades, he had a very straightforward upgrade policy in the entire game. He's on 3-3, he has 3 plating, he has building plating. jjakji doesn't give KangHo any openings here.
Yeah, I mean, look at the bank that jjakji has built as well. That was an abomination of a fight for KangHo there. He basically lost everything and did not kill anything. Really nice flank attempt here, and he actually baits some of the Widowmine shots in his favor, but jjakji just has too much. He floats the medevacs away, they have the plating, the Marauders here on the ground, not able to clean up the Mutalisk, but he trades well time and time again, and look at that bank getting spent instantly. He goes into 13 Marines at a time, 4 Widowmines, 2 Marauders, keeping up that production constantly. Has so many barracks, as you can see here.
Yeah, the big problem really being that KangHo, he has no follow-up.
Yeah.
This is how strong his army will be in this game. That's it. That's what you have to deal with.
There's no tech switch possibility.
There it is. He's trying to do it. Finally, 25 minutes in the game, we finally seen an infestation pit on screen. And that is very late. And I mean, I won't even imagine the time that he needs to get the +3/+3 out and any additional tech after hive.
It's gonna be very rough. The Marines here not able to jump into that bunker. One of them does.
The Mutalisk can't fight it.
No, not against the high-sec auto track plus the building plating. You know, if he traded for it, it would definitely not be cost efficient. Here we go again. The Mutas come for the flank, and he may have enough Banelings this time.
Yeah, jjakji has to be a little bit careful with this, but he's doing some damage, and he has still those Widow Mines. Now most of the Marines are already gone, but the Mutalisk numbers are also dwindling, and the supply is heavily in favor of jjakji. The Terran player is just slowly and steadily taking down the numbers. KangHo is losing his army, and jjakji is on the move. He has the mining bases, and he has all the momentum in the world. The 3-3 upgrades are doing a great job for him, and he's just pushing through, going to the bottom left now.
He wants to end it. He wants to finish it this time. He has the Marine count this time with him. He's got so much rallied with this army. There's no more Banelings left. He's desperately trying to morph them. A few more just finished. But if he keeps the Marauders in the front, there should be no problem. He splits very well. The Widowmine shots are decent.
There are no minerals anymore for jjakji, sorry, for KangHo. This is game GG. No potential to get any reinforcements into the picture. A 60 supply lead at this point in time for jjakji already. And with a very, very convincing game, we have jjakji taking game number 1 here.
Very well played. I like the words you used with him. A very strict upgrade policy. Constantly getting his upgrades out, not wasting a second. Even getting the plating to +3. Also getting the building armor. And KangHo just really struggling to... He committed to his roaches so heavily that they made the transition to tech into infestation pit so difficult. And then jjakji just never gave him the time because he was constantly attacking, constantly trading. He had an insane amount of production. He added just the right amount of barracks. It was really quite impressive to watch him play. He's looking really, really good. And Shine is looking really stressed.
Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, this was a little bit weird, to be quite honest with you. I would have expected KangHo to play this a little bit different. If you don't start a timing if you go into Roach and Baneling, then I would have expected him to just try to play it safe and bring it into a late game where he has high flick and he has the perfect army composition out. That's one of the few reasons that you have to play it slow and to actually say, okay, I'm trying to just go for an army composition and I want to survive up to this point. He never really did that, so he just added everything very, very late, and jjakji had no problem to play his own macro game, and he overwhelmed him in the end.
Shine is looking really stressed, not to change topics very abruptly here, but he's got his head in his hands constantly. Now finally sits up and looks at the monitor. He is up against a tough Zerg versus Zerg opponent in effort here, the CJ into Zerg. He's a great player in StarCraft 1, looking great in StarCraft 2 as well. He wants to get into that Premier League. Shine wants to be his first obstacle here. The map is Whirlwind, so a very large map for this CBZ. And one of those maps also where speedling aggression is quite common because the ramp is so wide, so we could see one or both players go for that. And if they don't, this could be a really strong late game. Whoever has the strongest late game will take it, is what I should say, as it's going to be Roach Hydra, most likely.
Yep. They're going into the game right now, our first mirror match of the day, ZVZ Shine vs. Effort here at GOMTV, the up and downs with KangHo and Wolf.